Well, I want to get on to something, explain myself a little bit better on the last video because, I kind of like play around on the videos and I guess I don't explain in detail enough what I'm talking about in specifics. But I will keep this not boring. I'm not going to show any charts, but I'll explain to you. Now, I'm showing a really bitchin' Ford Mustang convertible here. Now, the point I'm going to be making about Ford and the economy in general is going to be all related to your silver because what Ford Motor Company has realized is strong dollar has changed their outlook for future sales, especially like in South America and Russia. Like the Russian ruble is getting clobbered and the BRIC nations are getting clobbered because, the commodities are getting clobbered. Well, their currencies, there's a lot of currencies that are pretty much dependent upon the commodities, how well they're doing. So the commodities are getting clobbered, right? Clobbered. So Ford Motor Company's actually changed its outlook, and it's a situation that is going to be coming up portends for the future. You see, the economy is basically a balance. You can't have one area too strong. Just like with silver. Silver can get too expensive. I know it sounds ludicrous to say that right now, but when it's going up, people are going to be believers that silver's going to go to like 1 ounce of silver will buy you half a house or some garbage, or a roll of silver. Well, let's be a little more realistic, something astronomically high, or a couple rolls of silver will buy you this car. How's that? If it ever got to that situation, that's overpriced. Okay, so because they'll find replacements for it in piecemeal, and they call it demand destruction. I went over that before, but Ford Motor Company pretends for the future that their outlook has just went really piss poor because of export sales. Now the S&P actually. Now, October, I'm showing here Oktoberfest. Everybody drinks beer during Oktoberfest if they're into that stuff or whatever, but whatever, just to kind of say, hey, that's October, okay? The two girls are having some Oktoberfest brewery or whatever. But what's going on in October could be the same situation as last year because, last year I thought, oh, man, maybe that's going to be it because Soros placed his huge bearish bet in August of 2013. Now, he did that also early in 2014 again, and also added to that position greatly, huge bearish bet in August 2014. So he did it from August 2013 to August 2014. The August 2013 bets are going to be expiring in 2014 late. So, but if something happens in October, he's going to win out on even those. So the thing is, he might. He's one of these guys. He's committee of 300, I think, or something like that too. Besides, but October typically has been. If you look back at, not every year. I know somebody could point to the chart and say, yeah, October the stocks went up, but some of the biggest cataclysmic falls of the equity prices happened in October, and there's actually a couple reasons for that. And one could just be, the financials are coming out in October. Now, Ford pretends for the future that their sales are going to be weak, right? The Ford Motor Company. So again, we're talking about October. What comes out in October? The third quarterly financials for 2014. The end of the period is September 30th, 2014. Then those financials come out in October, right? So what happens when the financials come out? Now, Goldman Sachs themselves already said that the stocks are pricey. The PE ratio, the price-earnings ratio, the price of a stock to the earnings of the company is actually really high. And that's usually telling you, hey, don't buy those stocks. That's what's going on. Even though they've been doing, well, they're kind of like flatlining now. But the thing is, what happens when financials come out that change the corporate earnings because the dollar has been strong. It's been on a tear. It's hit like a record. It's hit a very high, strong resistance point again. What's going to happen to those earnings when the reports come in October 2014? The earnings will go down, which will make the PE ratios on the stocks even more skewed, make it more pricey, more overvalued. See what I'm saying? It's like the insiders, like, I got to tell you, Warren Buffett's another one besides Soros that's staying out. He's keeping a lot of money out of his Berkshire Hathaway fund. Now, I know that if the freaking economy goes down, he's going to be somebody saying, "Oh, you got to bail me out," because if Warren Buffett was one of the guys behind the bailouts back in 2008, because 2009, 2008, because if he didn't, those big companies weren't bailed out, he would have got slaughtered. You know, so I know there's inside connections and stuff, but I also want to tell you stuff about statistics. You know, one learned professor once said that statistics are a lot like bikinis. It's like they reveal, what they reveal is interesting, but what they don't reveal is vital. And that is one reason I don't actually use the charts and stuff as much as some other people. I could, because, like for instance, if I was, hired by somebody to present something to a bank, for funding on a company or whatever, and I can show them, whatever the pro forma is, and what the return on an investment is going to be, and the situations, and where the funds are going to be coming from, the use of funds, and show all these charts and where the consumer sales are coming from, and how the money's going to be used, and how much money is going to be generated for the return on investment, with all kinds of statistics. But I'm not dealing with a bank here. I'm dealing with a freaking normal people audience, And I know a lot of times people get presented with these charts, but it's the people that are actually doing that on YouTube. They really, I don't want to say too much negative about it, but I think they're playing a game on you guys, because you can actually play the statistics any way, which way you want. Because I know, like, if somebody wants me to say this and say that. Now, I do not work for any silver people. I have no connection to them. I know somebody mentioned I have some of my videos sometimes displayed on SGTB Bull's channel or something. I don't know if he's doing. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I mean, I have no connection with anybody. If somebody doesn't like somebody, and my videos are, referenced over there or whatever. Big deal. I mean, I'm just doing my own thing. I'm totally independent. Totally. But anyway, just want to point out, the economy actually is doing bad too, and that's another issue, because even though they came out with this jobs report about the unemployment rate being down to 5-point-something%, the actual number of people that are actually employed in the economy has been terrible. In other words, the unemployment rate is that low because it basically, all the people that were unemployed before, they fell off the rolls. Either they're unemployed now, or they found crappier jobs or something in Walmart, or bagging groceries or something like that, and they are now off the rolls. So what they got now is a lean, mean force in a workforce, mostly, that's like this bike here. Lean and mean, man. But the workforce that's actually going to be helping with the productivity and the profitability for the corporations. But you remember, a lot of U.S. corporations today are very much international, especially the ones on the S&P. And if the dollar's strong, they're basically, they're screwed for exports, and that's going to hurt their earnings, just like I said with Ford Motor Company. So the all-seeing eye of the dollar could be, this actually can cause trouble for the dollar. This can cause trouble for the dollar. A lot of people don't, and the thing is, if the dollar starts taking a slide, because, it's ups and downs, right? If the dollar right now is probably going to be hitting serious resistance point right now, because it's the third triple top. Now, I thought that was the last time too. It was the double top in the dollar, right? And the double bottom in gold. Now we got the triple bottom in gold and the triple top in the dollar. Now, does it mean we're going to go to a fourth one? I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. It's kind of rare that they go to these triple bottoms and triple tops. But the thing is, it's usually, well, anyway, but I don't want to get on with this stuff like that. But I'm saying is, the thing is, as the dollar loses value, say the dollar's on a downtrend now, it starts going on a downtrend, it hits resistance, what will people do internationally? They'll abandon it, right? And where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? How are you going to finance the U.S. government? How's the U.S. government, the debt financing of the U.S. government going to continue? Print more money? Fine. Well, who's going to buy the debt? China's not buying it. Like I said before, when Belgium took up the slack for China the last time, Belgium doesn't have the money to buy that kind of debt. It had to be the freaking U.S. government, the Treasury, the Fed, behind the scenes, using Belgium as a front proxy buyer for the U.S. debt that China is no longer buying. That's what's been holding up the dollar. So what the hell? I mean, not that the dollar's going to, well, let me put it this way. Even if the dollar goes to some ghastly new low, and it loses its world reserve currency status, it's still going to be the currency of the USA. I'm going to tell you that right now. Now, it looks like the metals are on a tear upward again today, which is kind of unusual. But, I also want to point out something. You look at this platinum and palladium, right? And I know a lot of people are focused in on the metals, but they don't really think through the whole picture. If there was a strong economy, as shown in reflected by the stock market, which is actually doing quite well. Like if we just look at the Dow, this doesn't show the S&P. I think it shows the Dow. The Dow is like, say, 17,000 virtually, right? Just about. So the Dow is looking good. Now the problem is, if the metals are getting slaughtered, these are industrial metals. How could it possibly be that something that's widely used for industrial purposes in electronics and across the board for like major items like vehicles and their catalysts like palladium and platinum and silver's mainly is in all kinds of electronics, how could it be that the industries throughout the world and the sales and revenue of all these companies is going up and it's not placing demand on the actual metals themselves? How could that be? So in other words, it's telling you that the markets are basically artificially inflated. Now, could they keep artificially inflating the markets? I don't know. The problem is, like even Mark Farber talked about before, it's like there's a limit to how much freaking stuff they could pull, how many rabbits they could pull out of their hat. It's, in other words, the game ends even worse. That's the problem. In other words, the markets should be doing this too. In other words, if there's demand for these metals that's going down, that means all these related industries, which are widely related, means that these industries are going kaput. So why are the markets going up? Why are the markets going up, right? They're being held up by the Fed themselves or the government or whatever. So that's what's going on. But what happens again, I want to repeat about the deal with October. What's going to happen in October? The financials are going to come in and you're going to show, I don't know this for a fact, but a strong dollar portends that the financials will show lower earnings because they've had less sales overseas due to lower exports because of the strong dollar. Remember this thing when they talked about currency wars? Currency wars means every country tries to devalue their currency because they're trying to prop up their economy by bringing up their export business. You have a cheaper currency, you have a stronger export market, which brings up more industries within your country you can sell to other people because you can undercut the competition. Now, us having a strong dollar actually does the opposite, which I think is actually going to be reflected in the October financials with the already highly skewed PE ratios, which is going to make them even more highly skewed, which could cause a sell-off. And Soros will make out even on his first initial bet. And you got to remember, Warren Buffett is staying out of the markets for these reasons. A lot of the markets, not all of it, but he's staying out, and it's actually costing him $29 million a year in dividends and income from the staying out. He's actually holding more cash, and he's actually holding more foreign currencies than dollars for the first time in many years. So, I'm not playing a game here where I'm just playing like buy my bullion. Because I can tell you right now, these bullion dealers probably been shorting the hell out of this crap while they're selling you the stuff. That's probably what's really going on. And I want to actually make a little note here because I know there's a lot of people about they immediately are tearing up the West. And I want to display this real quick because I'll show you the link where it is. This was actually from 2006 on Hot Air. Hot Air, that's something I do too, just like Howard Stern, But anyway, ain't that crazy. But Putin kisses boy's belly like a kitten, creeps out half the planet, the headline goes. Now, this is probably something where this guy did some kind of crazy slip up, and he just lifted this kid's shirt up and he kissed his belly. And it's not like some Russian tradition to do that type of stuff. But like Bush said back in 2001, I looked into his soul talking about Vladimir Putin, and I saw a child molester. So I'm going to tell you this deal, because before you guys go freaking tear it, because I know if the situation is going against the United States amongst certain people due to Russian propaganda, that when the dollar and the equities start going down, it's going to add fuel to the fire for the alternative media that hates the United States of America and just backs Russia. I just got to tell you, this guy, Vladimir Putin, seems to be a real freako to the max. And, it's 110 oligarchs in Russia own 35% of the wealth. I want to say that again. You think our dollar, or you think our elite are even, they want that situation, That's why they probably back them. Our elite back that because they want to have the same situation in the United States. The all-seeing eye here. But what I'm going to tell you, though, right now is just keep on with your silver investment. And this is Femin doing their prayers and their chanting to silver. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea, man. These girls I don't know, they're serious, but they're kind of funny. But I'm going to tell you, though, just keep doing pay your homage to silver, because silver's going to do good. And, you say, oh, hail silver, hail Harley Davidson, hail Ford Mustang, hailed Hemi Cuda in 1970 from Plymouth, right? Anyway, but, the thing is, hail bikinis, or lack of them. But just remember that, because we want to know the vital statistics besides the interesting statistics. But we want to know, what's going to happen in the future. What I'm telling you actually is straight scoop. What's going on is the earnings reports, it's not a guarantee, but it's not, I'm not shooting from the hip here either. Not at all. Not at all. This is, hardcore 101 stuff from the finance accounting world. When the earnings reports come out, it's stuff. When the earnings reports come out in October, it might be bad. They might not be too good. They might not be that good overall, because of the exports should have been slowing down due to the strong dollar. And that's going to already make the already pricey PE ratios go even more skewed. Could that cause a sell-off? Maybe. Then what's going to happen with the budgets in October? I mean, there's more and more debt every year. What's going to happen with the budgets in October? Is it going to be more problems with the budgets like they had last year? I mean, I don't know. What's going to happen with ISIS? Is ISIS going to go away? No. Obama's going to say, what are you going to do? Obama's going to say, we're going to have sanctions on ISIS? Freaking yo-yo. Anyway, there's so many different things. And if there's a blow-up in the Middle East, oil goes way up, gold goes way up. I just don't want people being against the United States, though, at the same time. We're holding on to our gold and our silver because we want to make sure the West stays strong. That's what we're doing. We're not anti-West. I'm not anti-Western. I don't know. There's a lot of people that are anti-Western, but they're being fed BS, but it's Russia propaganda deal. And right now, I'm getting very much on the side of Femin because I realize they've been true blue to the cause, and the same damn thing I've been saying. So anyway, here Femin is protesting, or maybe they're paying homage to Holy Silver, because Holy Silver is going to be the magical thing that's going to keep it going, even though it's looking like crap right now. It's just as bad as it looks now, it can go the other way. But don't be afraid. For instance, you got to take cash, right? When you sell it, and say it goes up to some crazy astronomical amount, not to what the silver pumpers are going to say, but I don't know. It's going to be really tough to guess what the top is. But when say for instance, you got a few rolls of silver, could buy a nice car, and it's time to freaking dump some of it. You know what I mean? Definitely. Without a doubt, hands down. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So, over and out. Hopefully I gave you a good balance on this deal and not bored the hell out of anybody with charts and statistics. And I got my own way of presenting finance and accounting. And I can show all kinds of complicated, Excel spreadsheets and advanced formulas, all kinds of garbage. And you say, well, that means you know something. I'm going to tell you this, too. Here's something to leave you with. Don't trust anybody with initials after their name. I don't like those guys. You know what I mean? The pinheads. So anyway. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you're into cars, go take a look at my friend Pete's place, Southwest Custom and Rod, and his DIY Auto School. And that's a channel I always like. So, You know, someday this thing's going to be a rust bucket, and he's going to bring it back to life if he's still alive, drinking lots of vitamin C. Anyway, over and out.